Hello to the Flickering Myth family and all you web slingers out there. My name is EJ Moreno and we have a movie review. I'm gonna be jumping into, here we go, Spider-Man No Way Home. Other than this review being a way for me to share my feelings on a film, I also want to use this as a good example of sometimes you may not like a movie, just the trailers, the hype, the marketing, but you can see the final product and actually have your mind change. That's where I'm at. I saw all the stuff for No Way Home. I kind of was seeing the rumblings of these major cameos and the introduction of all these baddies. I started seeing some of the trailers and the clips. I wasn't sold on this film. I was a bit hesitant on it. Now, after seeing it, I was kind of glad my expectations were lowered because it's a pretty good film. Is it my favorite of the Spider-Man movies ever? No, I think Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2 are still some of the strongest in this franchise or in this universe, but this was one of the best, no, it's the best Tom Holland film yet. I've always enjoyed him as an actor, and I've always thought his Spider-Man was a pretty good, choice, and I thought he was doing a good job, but the movies around him were never my favorite. I thought Homecoming was just okay, but it got overshadowed by Tony Stark, and then, I think Far From Home? Yeah, it's a bit messy. So No Way Home actually is an improvement out of all of these. It has a bit of a stronger story for our Peter. It is a Peter Parker story. Not any of the extra stuff, just a story focused on him. I thought that was a very good choice. I thought the surrounding characters like MJ and Ned and Strange and Aunt May and Happy, they were a bit better in this film as well. So all of this started working together for a more positive experience. Then we have the spoiler stuff we'll talk about at the end of this review. Honestly, come on. I don't want to tiptoe around some stuff. We all know what this movie's about, but all of that actually helped improve it. I thought it was going to take away from the Tom Holland experience, but everything around him, from all the villains to the cameos, it all just helped elevate this film to a different level. It's still not my favorite of the Spider-Man movies, but I'm pleasantly surprised and happy to report that this is pretty good. The world is beginning to find out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he's not really liking that. Yeah, the criminal investigation may kind of lessen as the movie goes on, but the public is still a bit scared, or, he's still having to deal with ramifications of being outed as Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, so Peter basically goes up to Doctor Strange and says, "Hey, I need your help. MJ, Ned, and me are struggling. My family is struggling since me getting outed as Spidey, so I need your help. I want them to forget that I am Spider-Man." And as he starts this spell, he starts messing up Strange, and this kind of this opens up a door, a Pandora's box, a multi-universe fun craziness, and all of these bad guys from different worlds start coming in. They have one thing in common. They're all looking for Peter Parker. Yeah, so basically, the spell kind of came out to be the opposite of what he wanted. So he basically wanted no one to know he's Spider-Man, and no, now we have people pinpointing him going, "I am looking for that Spider-Man. I need him." These bad guys are really interesting. I thought that was a very, it's a entertaining way of doing it. I did think the actual story of how, some of the bad guy stuff, basically Peter has to go around and start capturing them. He wants to help them, and Doctor Strange is like, "Nope, we need to send them back to where they were. Yeah, they are going to probably die, but that's just their fate." Peter Parker does not like that, so they kind of, they butt heads a bit there. Yeah, it's a decent plot. I just thought the capturing stuff got a bit tiresome, and then Peter starts making some decisions in this movie that I thought was a bit weird, and I'm just like, that's the choice you're making? I know he's still a kid, and that's something that they remind us of in this film, but there's some choices that I'm like, we need an adult. I needed Strange to just stop kind of playing around with him and really do some shit. I was getting frustrated with Peter making some choices here, trying to help the bad guys, and sometimes the bad guys don't want to be helped, and I thought that was it just kind of disconnected me a bit. But once the things start happening, and once everyone starts getting into the movie, it starts changing, and you start having way more fun. Any of the issues I had with the story, or the structure, or the script start going away, and you just start having fun, and you start enjoying all of the craziness, and that's kind of what they wanted to do. This movie is filled to the brim with so many people. There are some cameos in here I don't want to spoil, but for the most part, you know the major ones. But let's talk about the villains. I was really happy to see Doc Ock and Green Goblin back, and it was such a delight. Willem Dafoe eats this movie up. Like, I almost felt bad for everyone else around him, because I'm like, y'all are really letting Dafoe just do his madman stuff. I actually really liked Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. I loved him in Spider-Man 2, my favorite live-action Spider-Man film, so it was so good to see him here, and we progress his story as well, where he was ending in the last of Spider-Man 2, starting to get a bit better. That's kind of an overall theme here. He's not as bad as the other ones around him. That was really, really good. So those two do great. Now, on the other hand, Lizard and Electro and Sandman, they're here. They do things. They're just not my favorites. I definitely think Jamie Foxx still has not grabbed a great Electro performance. It's not as bad as Amazing Spider-Man 2, but still not my favorite. And Sandman and Lizard, they're just kind of there. They don't really add or take away from the story. They're just there to add to the villainness and go crazy, not give us our full Sinister Six. That was a choice. But yeah, I liked all the villains. I thought they were here, even the ones that didn't. Like I said, yes, Lizard and Sandman weren't doing the absolute most. Yeah, they were still good. They were still decent performances. No one here outright just disappointed me. Yeah, like I said, wasn't a big fan of Jamie Foxx, but he was still doing the best he could with the pretty weak material that they gave Electro. Just seems like they don't know what to do with that character in any iteration. So yeah, let's now get to the final chapter of this, and we have some major stuff to talk about. I'm putting this at the end of the review. If you do not want to hear anything more about No Way Home, end the video now. I'm going to get into some spoilers, just some minor stuff that we know, but I'm not going to tell you plot point stuff. Yes, there are some major other people in this film. I'm still nervous to name them because I'm waiting for Kevin Feige to kick in my door and go, "What you say, boy?" Yeah, so there are some major people in this film, and they do well. I'm going to say this as ambiguously as I can. There was one from an older film that I thought was really good, but there's one from the middle films that I thought was the best part of this. I was blown away by both performances, by everyone. There's more cameos than just the people that I'm hinting at. There's a lot of people in this movie that do add little things, oh my god, Easter egg moments, or a little bit scene-stealing stuff. Yeah, overall, I was just really happy with how this was portrayed. Is their introduction scene my favorite thing ever? No, it's kind of lackluster to compare to how you would imagine it would be, but that's kind of it. As the nostalgia side of this movie, definitely think it hit the buttons it needed to do. There were some quotes, I loved hearing Willem Dafoe go, "I'm a bit of a scientist myself," those little things, those little callbacks, and there's other stuff. We start talking about where webs come from. Those little moments I actually thought were funny, entertaining, and added to the overall Spider-Man legacy. Definitely what I wanted to see from this. I'm going to end this little section now before someone gets too angry. But yes, things happen in this movie, people are there, and they do a good job. Now, before I wrap up, I do want to say there are 2 end credit scenes. There is one right after that, more stylized credits. You know how it goes, and then you have the big black credits at the end. Yeah, there is 2 of them, one at the very, very end, and one after those, the mid-credit scenes. I think that end credit scene, it's a bit different than the other end credit scenes. It might tease the future of a movie, but not in the way you're thinking. My goodness, that was mind-blowing. And then the one in the middle was okay. There's some implications, but nothing too fulfilling. I thought that one just let me down a bit. But overall, this film is an experience. For Spider-Man fans, for MCU fans, this is a must-see. For people who are on the edge and just kind of casually watch this still has an appeal. This still has a draw. I would definitely recommend watching this. As much as I was nervous going into it and not a big fan, I'm happy to be proven wrong and say this is something worthwhile, and I hope you enjoy. So what did you guys think of this review? What do you guys think of this movie? Have you had the chance to see it yet? Let me know down in the comments below all your feelings. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel because we make videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. All right, everyone, let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home down below.